still. The first message coming through is that this person is rushing toward a breaking point. They cannot keep sitting on what they feel, and the next move looks bold, fast, and very real. This is not quiet longing anymore. This is not quiet longing anymore. This is pressure building until it finally spills over. And the second part of the message is just as strong. The offer coming from them is not going to feel small, expected, or easy to brush off. Please just take what resonates for you, since this is a general love reading. You do not have to take anything that does not feel meant for your situation, and you can also reverse the roles in the reading if you need to. Just place yourself where the energy feels most natural for your connection. All right, so let us begin with you first. Let us look at where you are in this connection right now. Here is Judgment, and the Nine of Wands, and the Three of Swords. Wow, that lands immediately. With Judgment, I feel like your heart has been hearing a call around this connection. Part of you already knows a major shift is very close, even if you do not know the exact shape yet. With the Nine of Wands, though, I feel you are still protected. You are watchful, careful, and not eager to let sudden intensity sweep you off your feet. And with the Three of Swords, I feel there is already emotional history in your body. For some of you, this person hurt you before, and for others, older pain still shapes how you receive passion. So your side feels like this. Yes, you feel the energy moving, but you are not naive about it. You are sensing a rush, but you still want to know whether the rush carries truth, maturity, and actual follow-through. All right, so let us look at your person now. Let us see where they are in this connection with you. We have the Hierophant, and the Two of Wands, and the Page of Wands. Wow, this person is done pretending they feel less than they do. With the Hierophant, I feel like they know this bond has meaning. Whatever they tried to call it before, they can no longer reduce it to something casual or temporary. With the Two of Wands, I feel they have been planning their approach. They have been thinking ahead, imagining the reaction, and trying to decide how to bring this into the open. And then with the Page of Wands, I feel the spark is no longer staying contained. This is message energy, pursuit energy, announcement energy, and movement that wants to happen soon. So let us look at the shared energy between you, because the title says coming in hot. And I absolutely feel that here is the High Priestess and the Five of Wands and the King of Pentacles. Wow, so the bond is deep, tense, and much more serious than the outer story has shown. With the High Priestess, I feel there has been a very strong silent current. Both of you have sensed things that were not fully spoken. With the Five of Wands, I feel there has been internal battle, emotional friction, and too much energy pressing under the surface. That is why the next move feels so charged. And then with the King of Pentacles, I feel the deeper truth underneath all of this. The offer wants substance, it wants form, it wants reality. Not only intensity, let us get a little more on your side here. And wow, here is trust. So Spirit is saying trust what you have been sensing about this buildup. You may already know something is close. You may already feel their energy becoming much harder to ignore. For them, here is passion, and yes, that fits perfectly because I feel this person is no longer able to cool down what they feel for you. For both of you, here is chemistry. Wow. So the attraction is very alive, but this is bigger than attraction by itself. This part is your sign that momentum is real. The energy is no longer sitting quietly, and the next chapter begins with movement, truth, and a very visible shift. Let us get one more layer here because I want to see why the offer feels shocking instead of merely romantic. This feels tied to something tangible, not only emotion. This is not only a confession. This is not only a sweet sentence. This feels like a concrete gesture, a plan, an invitation, or a proposal that changes the tone between you quickly. And I also feel something important on your side. Part of the shock is not only what they do, but when they do it, you may have grown used to delay. You may have grown used to mixed pacing, half steps, or emotional uncertainty. So when this person comes in stronger and clearer than before, I feel your whole system notices it. It is almost like your heart knew the shift was coming, but your mind still did not expect this. All right, now let us go fully into your side because the title says this offer will leave you shocked. And I feel your response matters just as much as their action. Here is the Magician and the Ten of Cups reversed and the Three of Pentacles. Wow, so your mind has been trying to stay realistic even while your heart has been picking up on a shift. With the Magician, I feel you have been controlling what you show. You may be more affected than you let anyone know, but you are trying to stay steady, intentional, and hard to read. With the Ten of Cups reversed, I feel there is caution around future promise. You do not want to build a castle in the sky and then find out the ground beneath. It is not stable. And with the Three of Pentacles, I feel your thoughts keep returning to one question. If this becomes something more, can it actually be built in a real, practical, mutual way? So your side of this title is not naive excitement. Your side is show me something that has weight. Let us go deeper into what you are feeling overall. Here is the Page of Cups reversed and the Six of Wands. And the Unknown card with the Page of Cups reversed, I feel your tenderness has become guarded. You are not willing to spill all your softness into a situation that still feels half defined. With the Six of Wands, though, I feel this person still affects your confidence. Their attention matters to you, and whether you admit it or not, the idea of being openly chosen by them lands deeply. And then with the Unknown card, I feel there is mystery in your emotional world around them. You may know you care, but you may not know how you will react once they actually come in and make this real. That is important because part of the shock is not only external, part of the shock is internal. It is how strongly your own heart may respond once they stop holding back. Let us clarify the Page of Cups reversed, and wow, here is Judgment and the King of Wands. So I feel you have been trying to stand in your strength, trying not to let your more delicate feelings take over the whole story. But your deeper knowing has still been active, and I feel your spirit has been sensing that something much bigger is forming around this connection. Let us get emotional cards on your side. Here is Restraint and Readiness. Wow. Restraint says you have held yourself back on purpose. You have not wanted to move too quickly, assume too much, or hand your hope over without reason. But Readiness says something else. Beneath the restraint, there is a part of you already preparing to hear more, preparing to see more, preparing to find out whether this is as serious as it feels. So let us get hidden messages from your side. Here is I want truth more than fantasy. And here is if they come in real, I will feel it. Wow, that is beautiful because it says your heart is not closed, only discerning. You are not rejecting love. You are requiring coherence. You are requiring that what is offered makes sense in your nervous system, not only in your imagination. And that is exactly why the offer may shock you, because once it comes in real form, it could answer questions you have been carrying for a while. Not all at once, maybe, but enough to change the emotional atmosphere immediately. Let us also look at what kind of shock this is, because I do not feel it is only surprise. I feel disbelief. I feel your mind saying, wait, this is actually happening. I feel your body needing a moment to catch up because the buildup has been long and the opening may come much faster than expected. For some of you, you may respond more quietly than you actually feel. Not because you are cold, but because your heart will be taking in the reality of what is finally being placed in front of you. And for some of you, the shock is that this person will sound so much clearer than they ever have before. The tone changes, the confidence changes, the intention becomes much harder to miss. This part is about your side receiving the moment. And your side says this: you are not impossible to love. You are simply no longer available for vague love. So if this person comes in hot and comes in real, I feel your heart will recognize the difference immediately. That is why the title lands so strongly. The offer shocks you because it breaks the old pattern. It arrives with more certainty, more heat, and more substance than what came before. And deep down, part of you has been waiting for exactly that. Not chaos, not a rush with no roots, but a move that proves the feeling has matured. A move that says, I am not only feeling this, I am acting on it now. And the landing says this very clearly. If they finally come through in a way that feels direct, grounded, and unmistakable, your whole heart will know it is different. That changes everything. All right, now let us go fully into their side, because this is where the title becomes undeniable. Coming in hot is not only about speed, it is about a person reaching the limit of what they can repress. Here is the Emperor and the Two of Cups and the Knight of Wands. Wow, this person has been trying to stay composed while feeling anything but composed. With the Emperor, I feel they like to look self-controlled. They may want to seem steady, measured, and difficult to shake. But then the Two of Cups appears, and that tells me the bond itself has been living in them in a serious way. This is not only attraction, this is connection, recognition, and the sense that what they feel has emotional legitimacy. And then with the Knight of Wands, I feel the pressure of movement. This is where the title gets hot, because the Knight of Wands does not want to stay still forever. It wants approach, contact, pursuit, and bold expression. So what is happening on their side? They are losing the ability to comfortably sit on this. Let us clarify the Emperor. And wow, here is the Sun and the Nine of Cups. This is powerful because it says your presence feels emotionally enlivening to them. You are not only someone they desire, you are someone who brightens the inside of their life. The Sun says warmth, visibility, and emotional uplift. The Nine of Cups says you feel deeply satisfying to their inner world. So when they think about you, they do not only think, I want them. They also think life feels better with them in it. That is a huge part of why they cannot hold back much longer, because the feelings are not one-dimensional. Let us go deeper into what they feel overall. Here's the Magician and the Six of Swords and the Moon. With the Magician, I feel they have been trying to regulate themselves, choosing what to show, what to hold back, and how to appear less affected than they really are. With the Six of Swords, I feel they have tried to calm the current. They may have tried to mentally move away from the intensity, but then the Moon comes in and the Moon says the emotional truth is much less manageable than they hoped. There is yearning here. There is obsession here, there is tenderness here, there is nervousness here, and because the Moon is involved, I feel a lot of this deepens at night. When the outer noise fades, their real emotional volume gets louder. For some of you, they imagine talking to you. For some, they imagine touching you, holding you, or seeing you again in a way that feels very vivid. For others, they replay what they never said or what they almost said and then swallowed back down. Let us get deeper emotional cards on them. Here is restlessness and pressure. Wow, restlessness tells me they are no longer emotionally settled inside the secrecy. Pressure tells me the unsaid feeling is reaching the point where action becomes the easiest kind of relief. So what keeps building in them? The need to break pattern, the need to stop pretending this is manageable, the need to stop acting like their self-control has solved anything. Let us hear their hidden inner voice. Here is I have tried to stay cool about this, but I am not cool at all. And here is I am way more affected than anybody knows. Wow, that is the truth of their side. They may have performed distance. They may have performed patience. They may have tried to look like they had plenty of time, but inwardly I feel they are much more stirred than their outer face suggests. Let us also get what is triggering the final push. Here is the Ace of Wands. Wow, that says the pressure is turning into ignition. They are no longer only thinking. Something in them wants motion. Something in them wants release. Something in them wants response. So this part is not yet the offer itself. This part is the engine behind the offer. And the engine says this: they feel too much. They have suppressed too long. And now the emotional heat is turning into actual momentum. That is why they cannot hold back much longer, because the holding back is no longer creating safety, it is creating internal fire. And I feel them getting tired of burning quietly. They want the energy to go somewhere now. They want it to reach you. And once that urge crosses the final line, I do not feel they can easily pull it back again. Let us get one more hidden message. Here is I do not think I can sit on this much longer. And here's I keep imagining just doing it and letting the truth land. Wow. Yes, that feels like the threshold point. So if you have been sensing a buildup, you are right. Their side is no longer in a calm waiting space. It is in a nearing action space. And that is why the offer feels hot instead of distant. The feeling has ripened. The restraint has weakened. The impulse is getting louder now. All right, now let us look at the actual move, because the title says this offer will leave you shocked. And I want to see what form the offer takes. Here is the Ace of Pentacles and the Page of Wands and the Eight of Wands. Wow, this is very clear. The Ace of Pentacles says tangible offer. Not only a feeling, not only a thought, not only a hint, this is something put into your hands. A plan, an invitation, a proposal, a meeting, or a concrete next step that changes the shape of the connection. The Page of Wands says the opening may begin lightly. There may be warmth, charm, playfulness, or a sentence that seems simple at first. But the Eight of Wands says do not underestimate it, because once it begins, the energy accelerates quickly. So what is the offer? I feel it is an opening that leads to something much bigger than the opening itself. For some of you, it is an invitation to meet. For some, it is a direct statement that they want to be with you or see where this can go. For some, it is a conversation that becomes more serious very fast. And for others, it is a gesture that says, I am not only feeling this, I am ready to move this forward. Let us get more. Here's the Fool. And the King of Pentacles, the Fool, says risk. The King of Pentacles says seriousness. That combination is important because it tells me the move may feel sudden, but it is not immature. They are not throwing random sparks. They are risking something because they want something real. That is why the offer leaves you shocked, because it does not come in as vague energy. It comes in as visible intention. It says, I am stepping out of inner feeling and into outer action. Now, let us look at how they present it. Here is the Knight of Swords, and the Two of Cups, the Knight of Swords says the pace may surprise you. Once they finally commit to doing this, they may move faster than you thought they would. And the Two of Cups says the point of the move is connection, not performance, not ego, not attention. They want a direct link with you. They want to know if the bond can be met in real life, in real words, in real time. Let us get hidden message cards around the offer. Here is I need to stop holding this in, and here is I want to put something real in front of you. Wow, yes, that is the offer energy, exactly. This person is not satisfied with private feeling anymore. They want something touchable, nameable, and answerable. Let us go deeper into the shock part, because I feel the shock has more than one layer. Layer one is speed. You may not expect them to move this soon, this directly, or this clearly. Layer two is confidence. They may sound more certain than they ever have before. Layer three is scale. The offer may carry more weight than a simple check-in. It may imply future. It may imply official intention. It may imply willingness to build something, not just test something. And layer four is your own reaction, because your mind may need a second to catch up with the fact that this is no longer only sensed energy. Let us also see what this is not. I do not feel this is a crumb. I do not feel this is one half-hearted sentence tossed into the air to see what sticks. I feel it has shape. I feel it has purpose. I feel it has momentum behind it. That does not mean every detail is solved at once, but it does mean the offer is real enough to shift the connection immediately. Let us get one more clarifier. Wow. Here is the Chariot. That is huge because it confirms movement, direction, and forward push. This person is not only feeling pressure now, they are converting pressure into action. They will come forward with something tangible. They will make a move that changes the emotional atmosphere. They will present a real opening, and the opening carries more seriousness than you may expect from the outside. That is why it shocks you, because it is not only hot energy, it is hot energy attached to a real step, and real steps change everything very quickly. This is the offer part, and the offer says, I am done waiting inside myself. I am putting something real in motion. Now let us get one more card on timing. Wow, here is the Wheel of Fortune. That says the window is opening fast. And it also says this is not random. It is a turning point. For some of you, the offer arrives after a period where you had almost stopped expecting much. And that is part of the surprise. For others, you may have felt the buildup, but not the exact form. And that is why the reality of it still catches you off guard. Either way, the energy says this: they are not staying in contemplation, they are crossing into motion. And once they do, the whole temperature of the bond changes very fast. So the shock is not only emotional, it is structural. The story changes shape. You go from sensing to seeing. You go from wondering to answering. All right, now let us hear the confession layer, because once the offer arrives, there is still the heart under it. This part is what they would say if they stopped editing themselves, and I feel there is a lot in their chest. Here is I cannot stop thinking about you. And yes, that has been clear through the whole reading. You live in their mind more than they have shown. They replay you, revisit you, and return to you inwardly again and again. Here is I have wanted to come toward you for a while, but I kept hesitating because I knew it would mean more than a simple conversation. Wow, that is honest, because it says they knew the first move would carry real weight. Here is I do not want to keep this at a distance anymore, and that fits the title exactly. This person is done trying to cool what they feel. They are done pretending time alone will make it smaller. Let us go deeper. Here is I want something real with you that matters because it shows the offer is not only about release, it is about direction. They do not only want to finally speak, they want to finally start. Here is I know this may shock you, and I have thought about that again and again. So yes, I feel they are very aware of your likely reaction. They know this may land bigger than expected. They know you may need a moment. They know your heart may not simply melt without needing clarity too, but I also feel they have accepted that because not speaking is no longer easier than taking the risk. Let us get more hidden messages. Here is I am tired of acting like I have more control than I do. And here's I want to tell you directly, wow, yes, that says a lot. This person may have performed composure. But inwardly, the composure has been cracking. Let us hear the deeper emotional line. Here is, I care so much, it has started to scare me. That feels true. Because when people know the truth carries consequence, they get afraid. Not because the truth is false, but because it is significant. Here is, I want to know if we still have a chance. And here is, I want to stop wasting time. That is important because it tells me the offer is not only a release valve, it is an attempt to open future. It is an attempt to see whether this can still become something lived and not only felt. Let us get another layer. Here is I know I may be coming in strong. Yes, and I feel that is part of the honesty here. They know the energy is intense. They know the move may feel fast once it happens. But that is because they have been holding a lot in for too long. So the speed is not fake. The speed is accumulated feeling. Here is I need you to know where I stand. Wow, that is the center of this part. They need you to know, not someday, not in an abstract way. Now let us also get the body level of what they feel. Here is I miss your presence in a way I cannot distract myself from. This tells me the confession is not only verbal. It is embodied. They feel the lack of you. They feel the difference between your presence and your absence. For some of you, they miss your voice. For some, they miss your energy in the room. For others, they miss the emotional atmosphere that only you created. And I feel that missing has pushed them closer to action. Let us get the final hidden lines here. Here is I have imagined this conversation so many times. And here is I think I am finally ready to have it for real. Wow. Yes, that is the threshold. I have cared more than I showed. I have wanted more than I admitted. I have held back longer than was healthy, and I do not want to keep carrying this alone. That is why the offer is coming, because the heart under it has reached a limit. The words may not come out perfectly. They may not sound exactly rehearsed. But I do feel they will be real, and I feel the reality of them is what will land the hardest for you, because underneath the heat is truth. And underneath the rush is love that has outgrown hiding. Let us get one more message set. Here is I am done trying to look unaffected, and here is I want you to see what is really in me. Wow, yes, that belongs here too. Because this confession is not only about desire, it is about visibility. They want you to see the truth of their position. They want you to know this was never small on their side. Let us also get what they fear. Here is I do not know how you will receive this. That matters because their courage is not the absence of fear. Their courage is choosing disclosure anyway. And that makes the offer carry even more weight. For some of you, they may stumble a little. For some, they may sound more direct than usual. For others, the honesty may come in pieces. But whatever the form, the center is the same. They are telling you where they stand. They are telling you this matters. They are telling you they cannot keep hiding it the same way anymore. All right, now let us close this out with the outcome tone, the guidance, and the final message around what happens next, because I feel this reading wants to land clearly and cleanly. When I sit with the energy of both of you together, I do not get dead air. I do not get final separation. I get charged transition. I get two people standing on the edge of a change, and one of them is finally getting ready to make the change visible. Let us get a closing spread on the connection. Here is the Lovers and the Hermit and the Ace of Swords. Wow, with the Lovers, I feel there is still a living bond here. There is still significance, still pull, and still a meaningful choice in front of the connection. With the Hermit, I feel both of you have spent time inward, thinking, reassessing, and trying to understand what this really means. And then the Ace of Swords says breakthrough, truth becoming speakable, uncertainty getting cut through by direct expression. So the final tone is not endless mystery. The final tone is revelation. Let us get more on that. Here is the Six of Cups and the Page of Swords. So yes, there is remembrance, tenderness, and continued mental focus. This person has not drifted into indifference. They have stayed mentally attached, and emotionally, there is still softness at the center of what they feel. All right, so let us see the most likely next energy. Here is the Fool. And the Page of Wands and the Two of Cups. Again, this looks like an opening, a fresh move, a message, and real mutual energy trying to return to the surface. The Fool says someone takes the risk. The Page of Wands says the opening may begin in a lighter tone. And the Two of Cups says the opening matters because the feeling beneath it is real. This is not empty contact. For some of you, the first move may seem simple, but it changes the emotional temperature immediately. Let us get final hidden messages. For them, here's I need you to know this now. For you, here's I need actions to match words. And for both of you, here's this is not finished in my heart. Wow, that gathers the whole reading together. One heart finally moving, one heart still careful, both hearts still very connected. So what is the guidance for you? Here's the Queen of Cups and the Ten of Cups. The guidance is to stay emotionally wise without shutting down. You do not need to race ahead, but you also do not need to deny what your intuition has been sensing. Let yourself observe, let yourself feel, let yourself notice whether the action carries consistency, because that is the key. Now, not only heat, not only big feeling, but whether the move is followed by grounded presence. You do not have to chase, you do not have to decode endlessly. You only have to stay present enough to recognize sincerity if it arrives, and steady enough to walk away from performance if it does not. Let us get one more message of guidance. Here is there are infinite resources available to me. That tells me do not move from scarcity. Do not receive from the part of you that thinks any offer is better than no offer. Receive from self-respect, receive from clarity, receive from the part of you that knows what real effort looks like. And now let us get the final thing they would say if they were standing in front of you. I cannot keep sitting on this. I have tried to stay contained, but what I feel is bigger than the container now. I know I may be coming in fast, but I need you to know this is real for me. I do not want to keep imagining something I could actually try to build. I do not want to keep wondering what would happen if I finally said it. I want to step toward you. I want to put something real in front of you. I know this may shock you, but I would rather shock you with the truth than keep hiding behind silence. And I feel like that is the truth here, not polished, not dramatic, just very real. So yes, they are coming in hot. Yes, they cannot hold back much longer. And yes, the offer feels like it changes the story because it takes what was inward, pressurized, and unspoken and turns it into something visible. That is why the reading lands this way, not because the energy is chaotic, but because the energy has finally crossed into readiness. It has finally crossed into now I do something, so trust what you feel. Watch what they do. And remember the whole message. The heat is real. The feeling is real. And the offer is meant to move the bond into a very different space. That is the outcome tone. That is the sign. And that is the closing truth. Something is moving now. And once it starts, the connection does not feel the same anymore. Sometimes the shocking thing is not that someone feels this much. Sometimes the shocking thing is that they finally stop hiding it and act. That is the turn right now. When I sit with the energy of both of you together, I do not get dead air. I do not get final separation. I get charged transition. I get two people standing on the edge of a change, and one of them is finally getting ready to make the change visible. Let us get a closing spread on the connection. Here is the Lovers and the Hermit and the Ace of Swords. Wow, with the Lovers, I feel there is still a living bond here. There is still significance, still pull, and still a meaningful choice in front of the connection. With the Hermit, I feel both of you have spent time inward, thinking, reassessing, and trying to understand what this really means. And then the Ace of Swords says breakthrough, truth becoming speakable, uncertainty getting cut through by direct expression. So the final tone is not endless mystery. The final tone is revelation. Let us get more on that. Here is the Six of Cups and the Page of Swords. So yes, there is remembrance, tenderness, and continued mental focus. This person has not drifted into indifference. They have stayed mentally attached, and emotionally, there is still softness at the center of what they feel. All right, so let us see the most likely next energy. Here's the Fool. And the Page of Wands and the Two of Cups. Again, this looks like an opening, a fresh move, a message, and real mutual energy trying to return to the surface. The Fool says someone takes the risk. The Page of Wands says the opening may begin in a lighter tone. And the Two of Cups says the opening matters because the feeling beneath it is real. This is not empty contact. For some of you, the first move may seem simple, but it changes the emotional temperature immediately. Let us get final hidden messages. For them, here's I need you to know this now. For you, here's I need actions to match words. And for both of you, here's this is not finished in my heart. Wow, that gathers the whole reading together. One heart finally moving, one heart still careful, both hearts still very connected. So what is the guidance for you? Here is the Queen of Cups and the Ten of Cups. The guidance is to stay emotionally wise without shutting down. You do not need to race ahead, but you also do not need to deny what your intuition has been sensing. Let yourself observe, let yourself feel, let yourself notice whether the action carries consistency, because that is the key now, not only heat, not only big feeling, but whether the move is followed by grounded presence. You do not have to chase, you do not have to decode endlessly. You only have to stay present enough to recognize sincerity if it arrives, and steady enough to walk away from performance if it does not. Let us get one more message of guidance. Here is there are infinite resources available to me. That tells me do not move from scarcity. Do not receive from the part of you that thinks any offer is better than no offer. Receive from self-respect, receive from clarity, receive from the part of you that knows what real effort looks like. And now let us get the final thing they would say if they were standing in front of you. I cannot keep sitting on this. I have tried to stay contained, but what I feel is bigger than the container now. I know I may be coming in fast, but I need you to know this is real for